Perfect. Welcome, everyone. This is the Push to One Star call with our special guest, Rachel Johnstone. She is Rachel. Do I always say your last name right?
No, that's right.
Okay, I always say it too, and so I'm like, I should probably one time double check. But
No, that's
good.
correct.
Okay, with Rachel, she is a 2-star diamond coach. But not only is she a 2-star diamond coach, guys, she started working this business last July. Okay, so she's like came in, she's understood it, and she is freaking ran. Her and her team are doing such amazing things. She has like, I forgot what she told me, like 94 elite points right now. How many did you say you had?
I think it's 95.
95 elite points right now, and it's freaking April. So this is the girl you need to be listening to. So she's just going to kind of go over a few things, kind of what she concentrates on, like what she does in her business, and then we'll open it up for a little bit of a Q&A at the end. If you have any questions, you guys can just use the chat box right now, put them in there, and she can kind of go through them and answer them towards the end. So with that said, Rachel, I will put myself on mute and I will let you take over.
All right. I'm so honored to be on this call. I think it's so great that all of you are here. I'm a full-time teacher, so normally I can't even jump on the calls for the groups that I'm in. I always have to watch the recording, and so I cannot wait for summer and a couple of weeks where I can actually like be present and live in the groups. But I don't have work today. We have Monday off, so we were able to make this work today. So I started working the business this past July. Before that, I was a discount coach. I just had my 2-year discount coach anniversary last week, and but I was like, did not want to coach. I thought this was like a pyramid scheme. I had so many hesitations and reservations, and that's something that I post publicly a lot about. And I just did not want to do this. And then I did not want to actually coach, but I had great results as a challenger. And I watched my own coach kind of transform her life, which got me interested. And I really came into it when I realized, okay, I turned 30 last year and did not own a home. My husband and I had so much debt, and I just didn't see life changing. My husband's a teacher as well. We work a ton, 60 to 70 hours a week. And so time was a big issue that I had initially with getting into this business. So again, that's something else that I talk about a lot publicly. So then in July, I was like, I shouldn't do this already. This opportunity's been staring at me in my face, and I know what's possible in the business. So let me just do this. And I told my coach, and I went all in from the beginning. So I signed up to be a coach long before I actually coached, but I started actively coaching right before the August Team Cup. And I was in a Team Cup team where that's when I really learned how to invite, and I was really held accountable from the beginning to my to just all of the daily behaviors. So as I'm starting new coaches now, I try and get them in these little pods and in these little message threads like I did for Team Cup back then, and just like hold each other accountable to all of these, to all of our daily activities and the vital behaviors and whatnot. So I invited from the beginning. I posted and shared my journey. I was also 35 pounds heavier back in July as well. So I had a substantial transformation story that I could share along the way, and that definitely helped with recruiting and getting challengers. But one thing that I know has made a big difference in my business from the beginning was that I was recruiting coaches from my challenge group from the start. So I had my upline in my very first group, and she would point out, she wasn't really like participating in the group unless we felt like she needed it, or somebody had like a Shakeology question that I couldn't answer. But she would message me and say like, you need to talk to so-and-so about becoming a coach, because she comments on everybody's posts. And so that's something that I do with my personally sponsored coaches. If they don't start in my own challenge group, or if they start running their own, I'm kind of in there. It's just as like another set of eyes. And I really try and point out challengers that would be really good coaches. Basically, a really good coach is somebody that does the workout every day, shares their struggles, And especially somebody that, drinks their Shakeology, sticks to the meal plan. And if they have great results, they're like on fire at the end of their first 21 days or 30 days or however long you're running your groups. And so I try and help my personally sponsored coaches with pointing those people out and kind of help them guide. Like, oh, maybe try saying this in that conversation. So one thing I also did was I got my best friends in the business with me from the start. And they all of my coaches in the first 6 months of my business all started as challengers. But I invited my friends, and one of my friends who I think is in this group, I don't think she's on the call right now, but she said no at first, and I know she had a price objection to it. And a couple of months later, she came around and she's like on fire. Like she's 1-star qualifying right now. And so I had some of my best friends that were on my team, and I was recruiting coaches, even if it was just one a month from my challenge group, by just like telling them, hey, I do my daily check-ins. Like, are you loving your Shakeology? And if they're giving me lots of positive responses, then it's just natural to say, like, have you ever considered becoming a coach? You'd be fabulous at it, which is exactly how my coach planted the seed in me back 2 years ago when I said no for almost a year and a half. But I always remembered that. If there's somebody that's like, this isn't working for me, I'm just really struggling, I can't do this, like, oh, I'm not answering all of your questions, I don't really talk about, I'm not then like, hey, do you want to be a coach? I think it's so important that everyone gets their own results and becomes like lovers of the Beachbody products before I talk to them about becoming a coach. Otherwise, I think that's kind of icky. So I did that. I focused really on hitting Success Club every single month. That is a non-negotiable. I spend, I invite every day. I post every day about my journey. Success Club, it got to hit Success Club. And from the moment I started coaching and bringing on other coaches, it was ingrained in me, like Success Club, not just for the points, but like you got to be helping 3 people. If you want to build a business, you got to be helping at least 3 people every month, because that's what we do as coaches, right? Like help people get healthier and live better. And then helping my coaches do the same. And we would do that in like these message threads or, new coach boot camp. And my big team that I'm a part of, we've kind of revamped a lot of what we do with our new coach training. But I'm doing these little message thread pods right now that are really helping. And they're so focused on Success Club and getting challengers. And then I think as long as you're talking to your challengers, it would be great. Talking to your challengers about coaching privately, then the coaches will come out of that as long as you're getting great results in their challenge groups. So then I had my 2 best friends, Haley and Jackie. Jackie started coaching with me almost immediately, and Haley started coaching in November. And in the first week of January, they both hit diamond on the same day, and then held for 6 weeks. And then in February, I was, a lifetime 2-star. So before that, all of my income was retail sales, which kind of range anywhere between, in the beginning, maybe $200 a month to $500, and then quickly over $1,000. But then once I hit 2-star, which my coach had always said, like, that needs to be your goal. Like in developing and growing your rank, get to 2-star, because that's when you get to open up your second business center and start putting your retail sales through that second business center. And then it's essentially like having another personally sponsored coach hitting Success Club. And that's really when I saw my income kind of just like take off and triple in the month of February than what it was in January. So then since then, it's always pushing for the next thing and showing my new personally sponsored coaches how to hit Success Club. So I wouldn't have personally sponsored coaches if I wasn't recruiting personally sponsored coaches. And how I do that is through my challenge groups. And I really focus on, and I was just talking to Sydney about this earlier today, I really focus on, in my invites, making sure that I am inviting me's. people that are around, my age or same stage in life. I'm a teacher who just like really wasn't taking care of herself, or like really busy. People that would have had the same objections that I had going into it, and reaching out to them, or developing new friendships, or creating new relationships with people that I really think I would have a lot in common with. And those are the people that I am seeing become my new coaches. And I post publicly about the coaching opportunity just as much as I do about challenge groups. And I want people, when they look at my page, to know that they can join me, that there's a business opportunity here, that I can help them get fit and healthy and live a happier life. And that my team is full of these like amazing women who love, support, and encourage each other, and are like trying to build success and like build this empire for themselves. And we're doing it together. So I, as I'm bringing on my new coaches, we have a pretty efficient like onboarding process to just kind of like get them set up. And the emphasis is a lot on Success Club and really understanding what that is and how you get there and how to really invite. And then we, like I said, we're in these little, like this little message thread that keeps on going even after we're done with like push to emerald groups or push your dash to diamond and things like that. We keep this little message thread going, and I just encourage everyone to ask their questions in that thread and reply to it, reply to everybody in there. And in my first, like as I was pushing to diamond myself, I will say that I felt like my team grew faster than what I knew. I didn't know what I was doing. I have my messenger thread on Facebook. And sorry, just for Katie who asked that question. I definitely felt like, oh my gosh, like what am I doing? I don't know how to lead people. And I had like all of that self-doubt that is so common. Or like, I don't know, what if I'm not going to hit Success Club this month? Or what if I had a date for Diamond, which was I think November 18th. And I knew that I was going to be the 5th diamond for my coach. And I was positioned on her strong leg back when she signed me up as a discount coach. And that she would be 5-star elite if I hit diamond by this one day. And so she kind of shared that information with me, like, oh, you would be really pivotal in getting our team to elite. And I was like, oh, you think I can do that? You think I could be a diamond coach? Like I literally had that on my vision board in July when I started coaching. I didn't even know what diamond was. I thought it was this huge, major thing, because that's what we make it out to be on publicly on our Facebook, on our recognition. I didn't know that it was something like somebody like me who was like a new coach could do. And so I just made that deadline, and I literally hit diamond that Wednesday night, or that Wednesday afternoon at like 3 p.m. And it was just kind of crazy, like lots of like affirmations and putting it out there into the world, and honestly just doing the work. Even when I felt like, I don't know if I can really handle a team. And my coach would say, well, like if you want to build a business and you want to have the income that you say you want to have, like these are the things that you do, and I'll totally help you, and I'll be there every step of the way with you. And so even though sometimes I felt like I was paralyzed because I was so scared and didn't know what I was doing and had all this self-doubt, I did it anyway. And that's kind of what I do every day. Like I work 60 to 70 hours a week and almost every single Saturday in my job, and it's exhausting and it's chaos. And I'm a middle school teacher, and I literally have the only privacy I get all day is when I go to the bathroom. Which then that's on my phone, like replying to messages. But I do it anyway. And I get home and I'm tired, and I do it anyway. I get up at 4 a.m. I try and get my workout in by 4:30, but from 4 to 4:30, like I'm expanding my network and I'm doing my invites. And that's kind of what I tell my team, and they say, well, how do you do this? And I'll say, that's just how I do it. I don't really like push them too much. I don't say like, you need to be doing this too. But I just tell them, this is what I've done. This is what's worked for me. And I think that it kind of like makes those people that have that same mentality like attracted to me. And then as I share publicly the success I've had, I just had a double check with my husband before this call. I'm like, I know I'm somebody that's motivated by the income, and that's what eventually got me over the hump to do this, to actually become like actively coached to begin with. And so that's something that I do share when I have, income success, even when it was just enough to cover my car payment or groceries or my Shakeology. And, now we're closing on a house next month. And now I know that my income will cover our mortgage and more. So that'll be those things that I, share publicly with the disclaimer, of course. But then, so my coaches know like, hey, how do I get to where you are? How do I get that? And I'll say, this is what you need to do, rather than me pushing and saying, hey, you're going to be my next diamond coach. Or they'll ask me that and say, do you think like I really like, what's the next step for me? Do you think that I could become a diamond? Yes. Well, when do you think I could become a diamond by? And so that's kind of how I help get them, to the next level. I will say, I feel like I hit diamond pretty quickly, and I hit 2-star even faster. And I'm not stuck at 2-star, but my rank hasn't changed since February, but we're like right on the cusp of having a lot of coaches that are really close in my second business center that's really close. And I know that every coach is on their own timeline to get to diamond, but I am somebody that like really responds to having a date. And that keeps me from succumbing to all of my excuses. Like, I'm just tired. I'm too busy. And like, freaking everybody's busy. Everybody's tired. Everybody has a lot going on. But if you want to hit like these big goals and do it fast, you just have to get it done and do it. And that's one thing that people ask me, like, how do you find time? I just do. I just do. I make it happen. So that's just a little bit about, kind of how I went 2-star and how I've helped my team get there. I think definitely in the speed that it happened was because I invited my friends from the beginning to become challengers, and really shared the, with my friends that I could be like, hey, you really need to do this. Like, I don't know why you're not doing this with me, and not really letting fear of them saying no. Because of course I have plenty of friends that have said no. But if I hadn't have done that, then I wouldn't have had those 2 diamond coaches there with me. And then, just that's kind of how I've helped lead my team and continue to build it since then, because I definitely didn't want to be one of those diamond coaches and I knew from all of the other star diamonds that are above me on my team, as soon as I hit diamond, they're like, Rachel, don't slow down. It's so easy to feel like you've pushed and pushed and pushed. And I pushed in that month before I hit it. And you just want to like take a step back and take a breather. And honestly, I did a little bit. And that was my only month that I didn't hit. The month I hit diamond was the only month that I didn't hit Success Club 10, which I had before and have since then. But I totally know that that's a thing where like you can hit diamond and feel like, oh, and now I get to breathe. But no, you don't, because diamond doesn't actually mean anything. It means that, you built some sort of foundation underneath you, and you got to keep growing so you can get to the next level. And then once you get to 2-star, then it's like, okay, now I'm seeing a really secure income and steady income that's substantial every week. And I want to keep continuing to grow. No, I do not have weekly calls with all of my coaches. I flat out do not have the time to do that. And I know that some people do, and some people on my team do. I don't have time for that. I'm also not a super organized person. Like, I struggle with that. So I don't have that. I will drop what I'm doing outside of my full-time job business hours for my coaches that are like hitting Success Club. And my coaches that are like really pushing and working. If one of my coaches, Lauren, says, hey, can I call you tonight about such and such? I'll make time to have a call with her. But if it's a coach that I do have some coaches that are not hitting Success Club, and they'll say, can we have a call this week? And I'll say, oh, I have time on this time and this time. And they say, oh, that doesn't work for me. Do you have any other times? No, I don't. But send me your tracker, because they're probably not doing their tracker if they're not hitting Success Club. Send me your tracker and get 2 2 points on the board, and we can set up a call for, or I'll manage to fit you in my schedule for the next 2 weeks. But I did, now that my team has grown enough, I have about 20 active coaches on my team. I do have them fill out, in order to schedule a call with me, either had to have hit Success Club the month before or currently have at least 2 points in the current month, and send me their tracker. Because if they want to call about something and they're not doing their tracker, that can all be resolved. They're probably not doing a vital behavior that's in their tracker. All right. Any other questions?
Oh, Katie just asked you, how did you break into your cold market?
So I tag my husband in a lot of our posts. I mean, a lot of my posts, and he's like, oh, I kind of like treat him like he's like a challenger. And we just like do a lot of things together, and he's part of my, like our little family of me and him and our 2 dogs are part of my brand. And, I, friend request anybody that likes my photos. I actually, because I'm a teacher, I cannot make my Facebook profile public, because I signed, it's part of my contract in my job, although kids are not on Facebook. Like my middle school kids are not on Facebook. They think it's for old people like their parents and me. Anyways, that's still in there. But I do make some of my posts public. And if it's a post that's getting a lot of traction, and a lot of participation on it, then I'll go in and change the privacy, make it public, and then it starts showing up on other people's timelines, and then I just go and start friend requesting. I also go, and I've learned this from other coaches that are on my team, I go and if there is a challenger that I have or a friend that I have that I think would just be like a rock star coach, I go in and look at their friends list. And if we have more than like 3 or 4 mutual friends in common, I'll go through and friend request them, as long as they're not friends with other coaches that are on my team. I don't friend request people. I don't expand my network with people that are already friends with other coaches on my team, because that just gets all muddy. And then I start engaging with them by, I hope, I try to put out good, valuable posts, and then those people start liking my posts, and then I start I'll send them a message, and usually if they're people like me, I'll be like, oh my gosh, I love your clothes, where are you shopping? Like I literally have had 4 conversations in the last week about like where people are shopping. And I like legitimately do want to know, because I don't have time to research that anymore. And so we'll have conversations like that. And then they start engaging on my posts more, and either they end up wanting to join a challenge group, or I, bring it up in a really casual, natural way that doesn't sound icky. So I have a lot of challengers and some coaches that are coming from my cold market. I haven't started a like page yet. I'm getting ready to start doing that and get into it a little bit more this summer. But mostly everything has come from Facebook, and that's how I've kind of broken into my cold market some. But since I have done that, and again, I was just talking to Sydney about this earlier today, in my first 6 months of business, I was hitting Success Club 20 plus just about every month, except that month I hit Diamond when I was at 9. And then since March, I've been really having to work to hit Success Club 10. And I'm inviting a lot, and I'm talking to people a lot, but most of those people that are actually becoming challengers are people that are still reaching out to me, because those are the people with fewer objections. And then the people that have the objections are the people that I don't cold invite, but the people that I'm inviting in conversations that I'm having while I'm building new relationships. And those are the people that I know, and I 100% have faith going into that conversation. I don't want to say I'm somebody that goes for no, because I'm not that flippant with invites. They're really intentional, but I'm also not expecting like, oh my gosh, I need you to purchase a challenge pack in the next week. How do I get you to do that? It's not like that. It's like I know it's really important. Timing is important for everybody, but I know that if this person isn't going to be right for my challenge group this month, they're sure as heck going to join me in 6 months from now, because we're going to keep this conversation going. I'm going to keep making my public social media posts geared towards their objections. And I'm going to keep sharing my journey and my own successes. And why wouldn't you want to join? But we're just new. Like, I'm just new to them. This is all new. They're still feeling me out. But I do make it a point to connect with my cold market. And obviously, if I'm not writing down, and I can so guilty of this sometimes, if I'm not writing down, I'm not really tracking. I truly believe that if you're not tracking your business, you don't have a business. If I'm not writing down who I'm friend requesting, then I feel scattered with who am I going to engage with today? What new relationships am I going to make today? Because I see my friends number grow. But so I have to really keep track and write it down who I'm friend requesting.
I love it. This is some great information, guys. Any questions for Rachel? You guys can even take yourself off mute now if you have any questions at all.
I have a quick question. So you had mentioned before that when you set up kind of your boundaries or your calls with your personally sponsored coaches, you sometimes will make this statement that like, hey, if you hit Success Club, or can you send me your activity tracker? Do you usually get positive responses to that? I'm always curious. Like, I've given some tough love or set boundaries before, and I think when people think that there has to be a quota to talk to me, sometimes that they're like, wait, what? So I'm just curious of like kind of general. I know that I'm trying to stop hand holding, I guess. So if you have any pointers on that, or kind of how you went about creating that system.
So they always know I'm available via text or like Facebook Messenger. I'll always, you can ask away. I do think that my coaches do know that my business hours are very limited. And I literally have 4 to 4:30, but that's for me to do my power hour in the morning. And then I have 2 hours at night. And usually I'm responding back to other people. I don't word it, and I might have said it more coldly than I would actually word it to my coaches. I didn't start doing that until recently because I didn't have enough coaches where I needed to really say that. But they never started with me getting lots of one-on-one calls. So they don't necessarily know that one-on-one calls are like a big thing. And I would love to have one-on-one. I would love to have coffee and lunch with all of my coaches and really talk to them. Unfortunately, I just don't have that time. And so I started having to do this when one of my coaches quit in April, at the beginning of April. And she was building a team and she was pushing to diamond. And she might have even been a ruby or one emerald away from it. And she up and quit and canceled her account. And I inherited all of her personally sponsored coaches, which included about 4 coaches that were actively working the business. And those are people I did not really know. And so I scheduled Zoom calls with them like immediately, like the day she was like, I'm canceling them. I was like, tell your coaches and tell them I will reach out to them today. And so I set up Zoom calls with them, and those are the coaches that I did feel like needed more handholding and have asked repeatedly, like, hey, I really need a new game plan. Like I still haven't hit Success. Like there's one that like hasn't hit Success Club ever, and she's been a coach for like 4 months. And I just really need a call this week to come up with a game plan. I'm like, awesome. Send me your tracker at the end of the week so that I can best see where you need help. And then we'll schedule a call. Haven't seen a tracker since then, but I also don't chase it down. And I know that, and this is something I'm worried about, especially because I was like devastated when that coach quit on me. Although I totally know like she will probably be only the first of many coaches. But she was actually my 8th coach that made me diamond. So it was like, I took that one kind of hard. But I forgot what I was saying with that. With all my other coaches, they kind of know we do a leaderboard in my personally sponsored page every I haven't done it in a couple of weeks, like at least every 2 weeks. It just kind of show middle of the week where everyone's standing with their points, so they can see, oh, other people are hitting this. And they usually then they go into the personally sponsored page a lot to ask a lot of their questions, or the message threads to ask a lot of their questions. But I'm like, yeah, if you're doing your tracker, you're hitting Success Club. End of story. And I'm happy to talk to you then. But no, I don't really have to say it in like a cold way.
No, I mean, I think that's great, guys. I think you guys do. I mean, when you're talking with your team and you're working with your team, like, make sure that they're doing something. I love the tracker. Like, send me your tracker at the end of the week so I can make sure that you're showing up. Because honestly, most of their questions probably are something that the tracker will help them fix. It really is like, well, how do I hit Success Club? Well, add people to your network, connect with people, stuff like that. Like, when they're asking these questions, the tracker, I totally believe, will answer them. Did you...
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I was going to ask you the next question. Did you create your own tracker or just use the online office spreadsheet?
So I created my tracker is a lot like the online office spreadsheet. I keep it on Google Drive, like on a Google Sheet though, so that I can access it on my home computer, on my work computer, and on my phone easily. And I have it based on, and I'm transitioning into Teamsy also. So my track, it's kind of a mess right now, but I'm keeping track of everybody that I'm talking to. And so I kind of use like, what Sydney and Joe have helped me with, like, you need to be building, bringing on 5 coaches a month and hitting at least Success Club 10. And these are the amount of conversations that you need to be having with people to get you there. I don't necessarily think there's like one tracker that's best for everybody, just like having some system to keep track of who you're talking to and who you're expanding your network with and who you need to follow up with. That way you're never like stressed at the end of the month about hitting Success Club.
Yeah, that's great. I feel like I overwhelmed my coaches with a way too intense tracker because it was my tracker and I have a lot more requirements than what maybe should be on their initial one. And so I'm kind of looking for that balance of like a coach who's just looking for more the daily stuff. And then of course I've got my extensive one that doesn't really relate to them necessarily.
So we have on our team one that we put on our new coach boot camp. That's the power of 3s. And it only has like, invite 3 people, or, friend request 3 people a day, new relationship, or, interact with 3 new people a day, invite 3 people a day, follow up with 3 people a day. And then it has like the checklist: Shakeology, social post, check in with challenge group, online office, that sort of thing. And that's what I followed from the beginning. The only difference that the only thing I do now is that the number is increased because I'm trying to do way more than I was doing at the beginning. I'm trying to build my business a lot faster and a lot bigger now. So yeah, I just keep it simple with those 3. And but to be honest, all of my personally sponsored coaches are like, or all of the new ones, like, oh, I'm still trying to find a tracker that's best for me. I'm like, just keep track of it. Just write it down on somewhere and never throw it away so that you know who to follow up with. But I'm not a pen and pencil, or pen to paper person. I rather do everything online so I can access it everywhere. Like I said, I'm not super organized, so.
This is great, guys. Okay, what do your coaches use to send it to you when you ask for their tracker app? Do they just say like their tracker? Do they email it to you?
They usually just take a picture. Yeah, they usually take a picture or like a screenshot. In our new coach boot camp that we do, there's 1 week where it's like a little bit of training, and then the second week is basically like, okay, now put everything into action and post your tracker every night and show us where you're at. And that's where I get a lot of it. Also, I get a lot of coaches that will message and text me throughout the day that say like, here's where I am on this conversation. What would you say about, like, what would you reply to this? Or somebody just said this. We do that in the message thread. So oftentimes there's honestly not even a need for a call. But like I said, I'm really busy. My coaches are really busy, and I don't attract people who have free time that are like, oh, I really want to just have a phone call with Rachel tonight. Like no one really wants to talk to me. No. I don't have that many coaches that even request a call at all. To be honest, I had 9 personally sponsored coaches that hit Success Club last month, and not a single one of them had a call in that month, because we're all using our time to engage with people, to invite, and like have great results in our challenge groups.
I love it. Awesome call. Rachel, thank you so much. This has been great. Any last minute questions? Okay. Well, we appreciate you so much being on here. Thank you guys so much for being here as well. This is recorded. I will post it. Let me know if you need anything. Rachel, have a great night, everyone. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Bye. Bye.